November 1st, 2045. President Levi Colburn of the United States stepped up to the podium in an open conference, which the whole world was currently watching. He was about to make a speech that would change the course of mankind. President Colburn took a solemn look at the audience, the cameras, and spoke.
When the Abchlorans made contact, the world looked to the United States for leadership. I, and we, took that burden and agreed to be Earth's emissaries. Our dream was for a new era of peace and prosperity, as we shared culture and technology with these new beings. When they arrived, they were fleeing a dying planet. So, we allowed them to integrate into our society. We opened our arms, we sent ambassadors to their planet, and along with some of our greatest minds, in fact, and a workforce any humanitarian would call awe-inspiring. We wanted to help them in their time of need. It is only now that I can see clearly the reason their planet was dying. It was because of them. They do not care about our planet's life or building meaningful partnerships with our people. They only care about what benefits them, our resources, our labor, and our knowledge. It is now clear to me that we cannot ensure the safety of American citizens, and the intentions of our visitors have become clear. The veil has lifted. From infiltrating the White House, to causing societal chaos in cities large and small, to the recent abduction of General Otto's daughter, the Abchloran are a societal and national menace, a threat to the country's and the planet's very existence. And that is why I have signed an executive order mandating that all Abchloran must leave Earth by October 1st. Those who remain will be forcibly removed. Those that resist will henceforth be classified as foreign combatants. We do not seek conflict. We simply want to ensure the safety and well-being of our citizens and of our species. God bless you all, and God bless the United States.
The move ignited global conversation like a spark. While some applauded the United States' courage and steadfastness, others wondered what would happen come October 1st. What would happen if the Abchloran refused? What could come of the repercussions of war? It is now known that before the president had even finished his speech, moves were being made to apprehend and return Abchlorans to their ships. Some left willingly, taking off and returning to their planet. Others were less keen on returning to a doomed world. Chaos erupted across the country and bled into the rest of the world. Camps were set up to house the thousands of Abchlorans that had been captured as Earth's governments collected the resources to deal with them. Thousands more died in riots and armed conflicts. Eventually, as the last Abchloran ship left, we began sending the remaining Abchlorans to the moon via New Age rockets we were able to develop with Abchloran tech. Unfortunately, we had not mastered it enough to travel the vast distance between our worlds, so the moon was to serve as their prison. Humans across the planet cheered, and others wept. Then, those who whispered about retaliation suddenly found their fears become reality. The Abchlorans had responded with a virus. The virus was named Echo, after the eerie way it seemed to spread throughout populations, always one step ahead of those trying to stop it. It started with a nosebleed, a minor cough, bloodshot eyes, but before long, limb by limb, the body would begin solidifying into a volcanic rock-like material. This could take minutes or weeks, but it was always inevitable. Echo killed millions in just a few short months. Entire cities became ghost towns filled with silent statues of their former residents as the virus ran rampant. The virus spread like wildfire, and before long most of humanity was wiped out. In a vain attempt to slow the spread, what remained of Earth's governments began exiling the infected to the same moon facility which housed the remaining Apchlorans. Earth's final days were filled with death and chaos as the few remaining survivors of Echo attempted to escape their inevitable fate. Those that didn't die from infection died by gunshot or blade in riots and armed conflicts over food and supplies. People fighting for scraps in a world that was already dying. The Apchlorans had released Echo on Earth as a final act of vengeance. Their planet was doomed and they wanted to take us down with them. In the end, we all fell victim to their plan. The virus decimated humanity and in the process destroyed our planet too. There is nothing left for us now. There is just the dust of humanity's past and Echo, a constant reminder of what we once were, and of what we could have been if only fate had been kinder to us. But there is hope. There is always hope. Okay, so red and green. Wait, there's a blue wire? What's this switch? Well, what's the worst that can happen? Seth attached the panel's wires to a cable they had haphazardly spliced together and run across the facility, and flipped the switch. The lights in the hangar flickered to life. Hell yes! See, I told you I knew what I was doing, he said, turning off the chest-mounted flashlight and looking back at Becca, a triumphant grin across his face. Becca rolled her eyes and turned towards the various monitors that filled one of the walls. It looks like there are still 3 transport ships docked here, and at least one of them is still operational. She waved her left hand over the desk in front of the monitors, but nothing happened. Frustrated, she repeated the motion. I hate to break it to you, dollface, but no chips, remember? Seth said, pointing to his left wrist. Here. He approached the desk and reached underneath it, pulling out a keyboard and placing it in front of Becca. Guess you gotta slum it like the rest of us have been for our whole lives. Becca ignored his statement and pursed her lips, looking down at the physical keyboard that sat before her. She began to raise her hands to the keyboard before stopping and slowly dropping them to her side. Seth watched the look of defeat, no, the look of loss that washed across her face. He stepped forward, placing his hand on her left shoulder. Here, it's okay. Let me. Becca shrugged him off and raised her left hand to the keyboard. I got it. You don't even know what you're looking for. She began typing slowly, but deliberately. After a few moments, she stopped and a small machine activated across the room. Okay, so that's our ticket out of here. We fuel up the ship, use that card to access it, and then we are home free. Seth stared out into the hangar absently. Home free, huh? After all this time, do you think there's even a home to return to? There has to be. I mean, why else would MSEC abandon this facility if they had nowhere to go? She said, stepping up beside him. It's been months, though, and no one has responded to us. I mean, why would they? Why would they care about what happens to us? I mean, we're all either criminals, aliens, or busts. Yeah, but the very fact that we're communicating after all of this time, doesn't that surprise them? I mean, we should be dead. We should all be dead, but we're still here. You'd think they'd want to find out why. Becca shrugged. I don't know, maybe they use only a handful of frequencies these days. Who knows? What I do know, though, is that we can't be the only ones who beat this thing. Someone is down there, somewhere. And we're about out of supplies here. There's nowhere else, Seth. We could just stay here. You know, we got booze, and I can keep you entertained, he said with a smirk. Please. Drunken escapades with you is not how I want to spend my final days, she said. Seth put his hand to his chest in an ouch that hurt my heart gesture. The door to the control room creaked open and a large 8-foot figure ducked in. Its torso turned sideways so its broad shoulders could fit through the doorway. Due to their size, Chlorins always had trouble navigating human architecture. Hey there, big guy, Seth said, rubbing the back of his neck with his right hand as the Epclorin straightened up before them.